Hey everybody, no, all the interwebs, internet, cab, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, uh, all those other ones that subscribe to me, Google. Thank you very much. Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching my video titled Angelina County Busted. I'm gonna go over some things that I went over in that video, but I'm not gonna reiterate it too much. Please, if you know what I'm talking about, please go back to that video and rewatch it, or watch it again, or for the first time. This explain to you what I'm kind of talking about here and the reason why that I'm actually talking. Like I always say in every video, I try to keep this brief. I'm getting shorter on every video. It's just sometimes it's hard for me to get this into here fast enough, or remove this from here fast enough. So anyway, here we go. I received word that I will be removed, that I will be needing to go to court on the 10th to face these 2 charges. However, it will be moved back another period of time in February for a trial, supposedly. Now, this has been going on now for 7 months back and forth, and I don't know why it takes so long to bring this type of case to court. I don't understand, but however, the fact is that this is not the way the system is supposed to work. For those of you who don't know it, I was arrested for interrupting a meeting of the city council by using the F word and leaving. And then also I was arrested for a resisting arrest prior to that, which in essence what I was doing, I was asking for help. I was on the line with the VA hotlines that we provided if we were having trouble with our medication, or if we were having problems with something on the outside world, we could get help through this hotline. However, the help that I received was officers coming in, beating down my door without a warrant, and putting me in a chokehold and almost killing me. I'm not being overdramatic. I don't know what else I can do. If I need to put out a video of my wife saying the same thing that was there, I can, because the fact is it scared her to death. But what I realized through all this, what I've went through in this legal battle, is a lot of things that I fought for is not coming to fruition. First of all, I thought that a man could get equal justice, that an officer was actually here to actually support you and get you help if you needed it, to provide for the general safety of the public, to remove individuals from being in harm's way. Yes, I realize that they take an oath, but to give their life for this endeavor, however, sometimes it just doesn't seem to matter. I am seeing now a trend of officers who are actually not being trained well enough to actually go up against the situations they currently face on a day-to-day basis in our newer world. I see officers who are actually going off of training that they've had 20 years ago when they first joined the force. Well, everybody knows times have changed. This has led to police officers being targeted in many cities around the country, because everybody knows the techniques that they're going to use before they actually use them. I say this in point 2 because number 1, another thing is that officers who are being targeted are actually being ambushed. For some reason, shape, form, or fashion, someone in that police office or that organization at some time stepped across the line and pissed somebody off. The mere aggravation is putting forth, because the fact is that the way the system works, that the cop can do anything that he wishes, get it on your record, and then he can disappear into the night. And doesn't have to appear just by signing, just has to sign an affidavit. Yes, these cops need to be strengthened, but they also need to be trained. I'm reminded of something that I thought that I fought for as well, was a little lady. Her name is a Lady of Justice. When I went to school, it represented a lady who was blindfolded and was holding a scale. I believe, if I looked at it correctly, I believe the The left scale was up a little bit higher than the right side in order to symbolize that she was weighing evidence. She had a robe on would disclose she had some type of authority, but also she was actually representing just the justice's blind was based on the evidence. This also includes the fact is if you don't have the evidence, you can't go to trial just to save face. Whatever you charge an individual with, even if they're acquitted, it stays on their record. Ask for an expungement and wait for it to happen. It takes 10 years nowadays to get it to happen. I foolishly believed that there was a justice system that's out there for me, but that if I actually did something and it actually, in somebody's opinion, broke the law, that I could actually go somewhere and be represented in my case based on the current evidence, based on what they have, not on what they believe. And I was also fooled to realize that if they just claim they have evidence, and if it's any way detrimental to their case, it can disappear in tapes or photos or on the internet. I also learned that even though we have laws for officers that they need to wear body cameras to avoid these kind of situations, it's up to them either whether they put it on it or not. Lack of supervision allows these individuals not to put on these cameras. And district attorneys and county attorneys actually accept their explanation without any body camera proof, even though they're required to wear it. Any time that they use any kind of force, it's actually required. But they can get around that. As I'm starting to see throughout the worldwide, and I'll keep this specific, however, the fact is the rules and laws just doesn't apply to us. If we want to be actually represented and have our case in court, it depends on how much money we can hire a lawyer for. The more money that you can pay, the less your sentence. Lawyers do not like nowadays to go to trial because it takes too long and there's no money in it. The money invested by a lawyer to go to court is that astronomical on his client and also on himself, making him having to represent so many different people at one time he can't keep up with every trial because he can't make enough money to make a living off of a few where he can devote his 100% effort. We were learned to believe that with the Lady of Justice and her mind that we would actually be given a day in court of a jury of our peers and have a system that would allow all the evidence to come out in a timely fashion and appear before the courtroom. That's just not the matter of fact. Now it's only what the judge will allow and why he won't allow it. And that's fine, I can understand. It's unfair for some people or some defendants. But where do we get the notion that we were guilty before we were proven innocence? When did we get the notion, when did the tide turn about? Because we actually may or may not have broken the law, but we deserve an ass whooping by a cop while taken into custody. And where is it written that you can be put in a jail for 24 hours or actually days without anybody checking on you? And sometimes, in cases, forget you were there because they forgot to book you in properly. And there is no record of you being there. The only outside case that you would, only outside chance that you would get is that your wife or your loved one would keep calling saying, he's there. Go check on him. He's there. I need to bring his medication. No, he can't have it. You have no access. No, he can't have it. He's stuck in jail till we decide to move the paperwork along. It's documented in Angelina County. There's individuals who have actually died waiting for this period of time. There's an individual who's actually filing a court case, a federal court case, having to say, look, a medic told you when he came to the jail, my arm You tore up my arm so bad that it has to be in one place before he can actually put the IV, but it was ignored. The medic actually stated, I'm not going to leave him in your custody because I don't think he's going to get the proper care in a jail. Thank God for that medic. I wish I had a medal. When does it become that if you've been charged or you've been actually arrested, that you start treating, at what point do you start treated like an animal? In the Angelina County, how many people or how many women are accosted or raped? Well, we know of one case that came up, involved 8 women. Everybody says, well, we need to change, we need to change, we need to change, we need to change, and everything just stays the same. I am reminded of places when I used to grow up, and I promised myself I never would allow this to happen. And places where the law rules, no matter what the law is written states. In Angelina County, you can get arrested because it looks like you're breaking the law. Not because they know the statute, not because they know the law, because the fact is it just don't look right to them. That can't be right, so they'll arrest him. Why those hours in jail? Well, because the fact is that that's when he's actually deciding of what charges he could charge you with to make them stick. Then they'll formally book you so they can actually have a record of you being there. But this goes on before they actually decide to get to you, which, like I said, 3 days, 3 weeks, who knows? Depends on how much time the county officer has in between lunches to work on your paperwork. Meanwhile, like I said, they're sitting there. Nobody can get to you. Nobody knows where you're at. Can't even make a freaking phone call. It's never been read your rights. Denied access to an attorney. Oh, we'll get to it. Meanwhile, you just sit there, be quiet. Or if you tell us something, guess what? We'll process you in. We'll go ahead and complete your paperwork, so then you can talk to your attorney then. But let's go ahead and get your confession first, before you can talk to the attorney. The method to the madness goes all the way up to the judge's situation we have right now, and it took people that are actually prosecuting the crimes in the county. They want the path of least resistance. They realize, and currently the county understands they have a problem with their sheriff's department. They have a problem with their justice system, that being backlogged. And the reason why is right in front of them, because the fact is they're getting bogged down by bullshit cases produced by officers who do not know the law. And they're filling up judges' dockets. I do not blame the judges or the county attorneys for not actually wanting for being disgusted, because they're actually trying to try cases that are not even, there's no evidence, and they're missing the big ones because they're getting out with higher paid attorneys. I used to believe that an officer, if he came out on social media, on Facebook, if he came out and said, and gave a thumbs up like this, after asking does he apply a chokehold, and he does this 5 times, I was actually led to believe that he, okay, yeah, I'm still using it, it's still good. The direct question was, hey, Chad Wilson, how is that chokehold working out for you? Reply, 5 times. But he's still on the force. Never been reprimanded. Never even been said, you can't be saying this on Facebook again. Where an officer can actually arrest you and detain you and cuff you without even knowing what to charge you with, who has to call back to their supervisor and ask, what can I charge him with? All the way down to a city council who feels that they can actually ban somebody from City Hall. Because the fact is that they have that right. No, you don't. You cannot arrest or you cannot ban somebody from a city or public building. They can be escorted, but they can't be banned. And you have no authority to arrest somebody for interrupting a meeting and filing charges, because the fact is this person never would have been warned. Did we forget that part of our? Do we forget the part of our law that is stated that's there for us to read? Do we forget that part? Where do we start forgetting the law and just start making them up? How many more laws do we have to pass before we start enforcing the ones that we have? The first place of clearing up a town begins and ends with the city officials, and next the county officials, and next it says police officers. I think it should be reversed. It should be the police officers. They need to, and they are required to hold a better standard. They are required to be professional and represent their county and their city. They are the first person that anyone will meet probably on entering the city or see. That whole determination between how a county or a city official actually addresses an individual who is new will determine real quick if they come back or not to visit you. I was led to believe and fought for this country to believe in one thing. If you're doing the right thing, justice will prevail. And it's okay if you have a question about the law or the authority, then guess what? You will be tried, but you will get an opportunity to be heard and have justice submitted on you based on the law, not on something somebody has heard. Right now in this county, I will go to trial in February, and everybody in the county already knows I'm guilty, or assumes I'm guilty. Why? Because somebody told them so. Is there any records or any photos? Is there anything? The only record and photos I got is the ones that I actually received myself, because I knew to cover my ass, because everything else has come up missing from the county attorney, from the city attorney, and from our city council. And we allow this to happen. We allow these type of things to happen to us and not say anything about it. Meanwhile, there are elites that are actually breaking more serious laws and are being allowed to do so. But they're the first ones to say, yeah, have him arrested. He's causing a problem because he's speaking out and he's saying what he means. No, no, there's no freedom of speech here. No freedom of speech. No, don't talk to nobody else. Talk to me. I'm the one that knows. Don't listen to nobody else. I'm the one that knows. If you don't listen to me, guess what? I can call the sheriff's department. What is it said for a county when the sheriff's department is only known for one thing? They are the brown shirts of a society that actually, that are actually protecting those in elite positions. They're breaking the law. What is to be said when city law enforcement officers recognize the shit is being done, but they want to stand off because they don't want to get in the mix of it? And I don't blame them. They know that that there's a good possibility if they say something, then guess what? They're going to be holding the bag. The evidence and everything that I speak of, that I have talked to on my YouTubes, have all been documented. It's perfectly clear. The thing at City Hall was a setup, pure and simple. The only thing they got away with was being too stupid to understand other people could understand it. Please tell me in your mind, if you know you're going to speak at a council meeting and you get up and then when you return into your chair, there was used to be 2 chairs, but now there's 5. Just looking over your shoulder. It even goes so far when I go to a city council meeting, I sit in the second pew from the back. Everybody can see me there. I sit right. Now they place an officer behind me to look over and see what I'm taking notes on and what I'm writing. Now I have to look over and see if my recorder's on, if the red light's on. They make their presence known. When I get up and I start walking out toward the door, every eye is on me to see what they can get me for. Now I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, to discuss this as humanly, on equal level and say, look, okay, you didn't know how to deal with PTSD. You guys got out of control. You guys improperly used force. It shouldn't have been done. And if you continue to do so in the future, one of your police officers is going to get hurt. So I was willing to go to them actually and tell them where they made mistakes to where they could actually prevent this type of situation happening to another vet. They didn't want to hear it. They stuck by their guns. Because they said, no, we're not going to admit that we were wrong, that we made a mistake. I was perfectly willing to say, okay, here's what mistakes you made. How are you going to fix it? It's not going to be done anymore. Okay, great, and walk away. No money. I don't want no money. I don't know that shit. I want you guys to understand the reason why I'm doing this shit is so it don't happen to other people. I'm sorry, but if you're a county official or you're a county sheriff deputy or even if you put on a badge, please tell me you understand on how different to deal with an individual who's on drugs or addicted to drugs and you don't deal with somebody with PTSD. Please tell me you have two different type of training levels to tell you what you need to do in each. Please tell me, Officer Denby, that you know better than to ride around with your AR-15 shotgun in the back of your damn vehicle, carrying it like Daddy's shotgun, pointing toward the deck, unsecured as hell with a magazine fully loaded in a Condition 1 weapon. Please tell me you know better. Or are you just too naive to believe or just fail to expect to maybe see somebody actually trying to want to get that weapon? Or if they get in a bind and you have to stop, somebody won't go by and pick up that weapon out of your vehicle? Now you just escalated the situation because now, damn, we got an automatic weapon come from a cop car. How are you going to explain that shit? The same darn way that the Lufkin police officer explained the way somebody got out of the cuffs and stole a damn police vehicle? It's time for law enforcement and for our judicial system in this county to buck up and start doing what they're supposed to do. This is not the good old boy network anymore, because the fact is we can't afford that, because we're all going under, because the fact is our judges are wasting too much damn time of dealing with bullshit and cases that don't matter, cases that are made up. If you go to one of these officers 6 months later and ask them, oh, I don't remember that. I don't remember. What did I charge you? I don't know. It changes every freaking time. When can it be allowed for an officer not to have to even state to him that you committed a crime just to come on and put cuffs on you and take you away? And you have no record of where they're taking you to. I hate to say it, my wife was distraught. So this is going to be one of the few videos that I make on this subject, because the fact is that I'm not going down fighting. They want to put me in jail for a year for resisting arrest on an arrest that didn't even really happen. They didn't have nothing to charge me with. They entered my home with no warrant, with flashlights in my eyes, based on information they got from a helpline saying this individual needs help. This individual needs help. He needs to be medically transported because he's taking medication and he's had a bad reaction. He cannot be driven by his own because his wife does not want him to see or go into a convulsion or actually see what his reaction is going to be when they're driving down the road, because of the possibilities that he thinks in his mind are IEDs and people shooting at him. We decided to wait on help and got arrested. Now, for most of you who actually say and look at this video and say, oh, it's bullshit, they ain't no big deal, whatever, however, the fact of the matter is that, you know what, especially these people in Huntington, it may not be a big deal to you, but guess what? I'll suffer the consequences. But what are you going to do when it happens to you? What happens when you piss off the mayor, or you piss off the city administrator, and the cops come looking for you? How many tickets does it take for them to write to you to get your point? You know what, I better agree with them, or guess what? I'm going to run out of money paying tickets. And God forbid, let me say something stupid so they can arrest me and put it all over the freaking media, so that way I'm character assassinated. But we fail here in Angelina County to understand what's really going on. We refuse to look at it. We are, and I'm not speculating, we are living in a police state. We are living in a police state where a person walks out the door and gets on the highway. It's Highway 69 and is unsure if he's going to make it from 4 miles, 2 miles down to Brookshire Brothers without getting a ticket. He has become used to seeing at least 5 traffic officers in the city at the same given time and 1 game warden. You can see every cop where they posted at their favorite spots. They don't understand the concept of lying in wait. It's not an option. The rules go out the window when you come across the city limits. The reason that I am fathomed beyond belief, I don't even fathom the word anyway, I just can't believe beyond belief, is the fact is you know what, they don't understand, or they don't get that the situation around them has changed and the actual threats are different. And an officer told me, a chief told me, so well, you know how many times I've been on this job? I've been on this job for 30 some odd years. Lord, I've never had to pull my weapon but once. I don't know what kind of mentality would actually even say that, because the fact is, if you had to draw it once, that's once too damn much, many times. What could you have done to avoid that? What could you have done to escalate in a situation? What could you have done to keep from escalating a situation where somebody's going to get hurt and it's not going to be you because the suspect is outnumbered? How many times do you have to tase an individual till you're happy? How many times does he have to be put unconscious for you to assure that he's not a threat? And how many times does the people on the other line that are actually on the helpline hotline tell you, look, you're doing this wrong, and ask to speak to the officer, but you won't even speak to the people on the phone? How many times will that happen before you get it? As I stated earlier, I was going to let it go. I was going to use this as a learning experience to let the officers know what my training had been through PTSD, how you're supposed to act, how they could help individuals in these type of situations, to where it wasn't be an escalation of the situation. Actually, it would be a very positive thing for a person with PTSD, because they actually could realize, you know what, the cops are on my side, they're on my team. But no, they want to push it, and they want to push it too far. So at this time and frame, I've made up my mind. I go to jail for a year, but at least I'll get exposure from somebody that actually will look over this crime, maybe in an appeals court or somewhere else, to get it out of Angelina County. And I guarantee you, anybody that sees this, anybody outside of Angelina County who sees this, standing in line waiting to start the civil lawsuit. And I'll be the first one to sign. So for any of you individuals that I have addressed have something to say, or have me address, why don't you put out a public information statement? Why don't you belly up and say what the situations were? Why not issue a statement? Why not? And keep hiding from your affidavits so you don't have to appear in court. How many times can you run and keep hiding the truth? And how long will we allow it? I don't know. I guess it's up to you. I've vented, I ranted. Sorry that I took you off, of course. I hope somebody will listen to this, and I hope somebody will share it. You may not be interested, but I want to make sure that everybody understands that these crimes that are happening across the United States is having an affecting small towns of this land. It's becoming rampant, and we are actually setting in an example of it. I challenge each and every one of you to go outside and look at your door and look where you live and say, hey, you know what, I see it too. I'm going to put out on a Gab post. I'm going to put it out on blast as of today. Today is 1/6/2018. I am going to be recruiting every dad-burn civil attorney lawyer that I can find who wants to take this case, who wants to do justice, and wants to get paid. I don't want no money. Mr. Attorney, you can have the money. I just want to make things right. And I want it to be said to everybody, and the message sent, that we follow the law here, no matter who you are, how big you think you are, or how important you think you are. It's the American way. We'll put, I'm out.